Hello and welcome to our hip restoration series. My name is Dr. Benjamin J. Stevens and I am here to guide you through 7 days of daily exercises and stretches that you can do to help restore your hips and make them feel good. Let's get started. There are 3 common areas that the hip hurts. The most common area, as we age especially, is right on the outside of the hip. So there's a little bone right here. The top of your hip bone, your waist is up here, and the actual bone on the side of your femur is right here. This is the most common place that people's hips start to hurt to touch as they age. If you have the second most common kind of hip pain that we get is going to be deep in the front of the hip. So most people, this comes after they go for a really long walk. It comes if they're getting into a really deep hip flexion position up here, or it can just come from starting to get a little bit of wear and tear or a little bit of soreness over time. It doesn't mean that there's necessarily anything wrong with your hip. But with that being said, the most common reason that a hip will be uncomfortable here is usually going to be because you get into a position where your knee comes up this way quite often and you have some things that are blocking it in there. And raising it up to the side. You don't have to go very far with this exercise. All you've got to do is bring it up as far as you're comfortable, hold for a split second, and bring it back down. The last thing I want you to know is that I want you to keep your toe aiming forward. The tendency as you lift is to aim your toe up towards the ceiling. I want you to keep your hips aiming forward. I want you to keep your toes aiming forward as well. So we're going to do 10 repetitions with a small hold at the top and a small rest at the bottom. Just like that. So the very first one that we're going to do is for our hip flexors, which are in the front. So our hip flexors bring up here, and in order to relax them, we need to be able to extend our hip here. So what I want you to do is to have a countertop, a chair, something that you can hold on to off to one side, and then you're going to get into what we call a scissor stance. So a scissor stance essentially just means that you're in one foot pretty far in front of the other and one foot back. You're going to hopefully have both of your feet aiming completely forward, but if you have to aim toes out to the side, that's fine. So the first thing that you're going to do is you're going to have your support hand on something, you're going to have the scissored stance, you're going to try to get upright, and then you're going to shift your weight forward. But as you shift your weight forward, what I want you to do is to keep your chest up high and keep your pelvis moving forward. A lot of people are going to shift forward by leaning. What I need you to make sure that you do is to try to stay upright and simply push your hips forward to try to open up the front. So we're going to do 30 seconds of just back and forth, front to back, slowly in and slowly out, just like this. So if you have to, you can lift your back heel off of the ground as we go.